Most people misunderstand the 80-20 rule. They think it's about working less, cutting distractions, doing only the 20% that matters. But the reality is a little bit different. The truth is that the Pareto Principle or 80-20 rule is not about doing less. It's about going deeper into your productivity. I mean, it's very uncomfortable and a lot of people are scared to go into it, which you can also skip, but if you do it, you will just get stuck forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I'll give you an example. When I started working with the founders, their calendars are usually the same. 30 plus hours of back-to-back calls, firefighting any small issue, being available 24 hours per day, and chasing all the growth strategies they found on the internet. And when I ask what are the things that actually brought impact to your company, they don't know the answer. Of course they don't know the answer. Here's what the data shows. 80% of their time is wasted on the things that don't create growth. 50% of their energy is spent on ego-driven activities like check-in meetings, micromanaging, or just being available for the team. And the real growth drivers are hiding under the 20% of what they actually do, like hard conversations, bold moves, and strategizing on change. Do not despair, I've got you, and I'm going to teach you how to use the 80-20 rule the best way. But before I dive deeper into explaining the Pareto Principle, don't forget to like the video and support the channel by subscribing. And if there is anything else from the management framework you want to learn, leave a comment, I would be happy to make a video. So what is the 80-20 rule? Pareto Principle says that 80% of the outcome comes from the 20% of the input. That means that 20% of your results like money, growth, impact are coming from only 20% of what you do. Think about it. 80% of your revenue usually comes from 20% of your clients. 80% of your stress usually comes from the same 20% of your team and processes. And about 80% of your growth usually comes from 20% of your decisions. Everybody knows this principle, but the actual power comes when you embrace it. And it's very uncomfortable to admit that most of the things you do don't actually matter. So, how do you apply this principle? Here's the exact 3-step plan we used during our Founder Freedom Sprint. This is a proven framework that already helped dozens of other entrepreneurs to skyrocket their productivity and grow their businesses. Step number 1 is auditing your week ruthlessly. Take the last 40 hours you worked. Write down which 8 hours gave you the biggest results. Was it a sales call, training someone else to do something, or just creative time for yourself? That's your 20%. Step number 2, get rid of the bottom 80%. And this doesn't just apply to your everyday tasks. It also applies to your clients, to your meetings, team processes, everything. If you don't move the needle, cut them. Ruthless subtraction is how the businesses scale. Step number 3, redefine productivity. Most people think that productivity means checking more boxes. Wrong. Productivity is multiplying outcome using the same effort. If the task doesn't bring you compound results, that's just busy work, you can get rid of it. Let me be clear, the 80-20 rule is not just a nice to have productivity technique, it's a survival strategy. Your life and your business depend on finding and doubling down on that 20%. The Pareto Principle isn't about working less, it's about finding the truth. Most of what you're doing doesn't matter. People who embrace this truth grow. But people who don't get stuck in the 80% and eventually burn out. So I have a challenge for you. This week, just cut one thing from your calendar which didn't bring you growth in the past few months. Replace it with one thing that you have been avoiding for a very long time that you know can bring you 10 times more productivity. Leave your commitment in the comment and I will follow up to check on you 1 week later. And if you need help applying this to your business, check the Founder Freedom Sprint. We will sit down, find your true 20% and build a system around it. And your team, your time, and your decisions will start actually scaling your company instead of keeping you stuck. If that sounds like what you need, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and book your freedom call. I will leave the link in the description of the video and see you next time.